registrations. We are already, Sunil sir, we are already 230, no?
Yes, 238 now.
What? How much? 238.
238, yeah.
So it's a group of hospitality fraternity, then hospitality industry. We had sent into a lot of training managers, hotels, then schools, school principals, students, our present students, our prospective students, our alumni. So it's quite a lot of kind of, and it's from all over India. So pan India, there are a lot of people who all these people, but it's a combination of a lot of different kind of people. If they are kind of associated with the hospitality industry in any way, or if they want to be associated with the industry. So all are here to listen to you.
Big responsibility.
Yes, big responsibility, but I think so that you people are taking the flag high up. So I think so who better than both of you to come and address the younger generation.
Thank you so much.
Follow me, madam. How is it going with Best Tech now? How are they?
It's
What is the
see right now we are shut. All our hotels are closed because all of them are in very badly infected areas. All our 3 hotels. Unfortunately, we are not able to open, and we are not much in for quarantine business. We didn't want to do that because that's taking risk of a lot of lives. So we wanted to be a little safe, and we want to open once. We are taking one day at a time. So as and when we see that things are a little better, we'll open.
No, very good.
And of course, with the state guidelines, we just don't want to open the hotel for the sake of with no guests in it.
I know, I can understand.
That's even more demotivating for to keep employees motivated in such a situation is more difficult. So we don't take a chance, and then with one case and then it spreads. We don't want that risk.
The Sheraton Hotel in Saket, by ITC, the Sheraton Hotel, they have turned almost all of it into a COVID patient hotel.
No, most of the hotels are doing so, but we are not very keen. A lot of Marriott hotels, they have also done the same thing. They're complete COVID, but a lot of hotels don't have a choice. It's being forced upon. You want or you don't want, it is being forced on by the district authorities. So then you don't have much option left but to accept and have quarantine guests. But as long as we cannot have, we will be happy not to have, because it's a lot of responsibility for the team that you want to get.
Yeah.
And we don't want to force.
Yeah. Ma'am and Douglas sir, may I introduce Mr. Loro? He's the director for Vatel. He's the one who actually started the school in 2015. I only joined recently. So he's the one who brought Vatel to India. And Loro sir, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. So,
good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good evening. Good evening. Good afternoon. Still 5 minutes left.
Okay.
So are you based, Mr. Laurent? Are you based in Delhi? Are you based in France?
No, I'm based in Delhi only. I work full time at the university. I'm also the campus life director there.
Fantastic. Okay.
Dr. Garima, she actually is the one handling the show, and even though she's not been there for very long, as she says, but she's taken a grip on this entire thing. So now I am pretty free to to take my time to do my other stuff while she's having a active of steel on her school. So we are quite happy that she came. Actually, it was really a good relief when she joined us, because she's done great work there. And in February, when
I have a feeling I met you when I came to the campus about 1.5 years back when Mr. Bhandari was there.
Yes. We met. I remember you there, right?
We had a lovely lunch. So we got a lot of people looking forward to this great webinar. And I would, rather sharing more knowledge, I would rather focus on learning from the assorted number of people who are here from different backgrounds, whether it's students, the parents, the faculty, and I think collaborative learning is the best learning.
And we actually have a faculty, Chef Sunil, who had been coordinating the whole IT thing. He's the program director for the school. Chef Saurabh, we know he's the chef with us. He's been talking with you and actually practically been inviting you. So, and we have also all our other faculty members who are signed in. So it's a small group. We actually could not make them as panelists. Mr. Kulmohan, you've already met. He takes care of the French and soft skills in our school. And the rest of the faculty members are all signed in, but we can't make them as a panelist because of the technical issues with the system. And so we are a small group, but I think so we are trying to be very effective. That's what. Then our Chief Marketing Officer, Mr. Amit will also be joining at the end practically, where he gives the procedures. The plan of the day practically would be like Kulmohan sir starts. I introduce Vatel as a brand, and then Polami ma'am gives her speaks, and then there'll be a question and answer with your session ma'am addressing you. Then Mr. Douglas speak, and he has a question and answer. And after that, our CMO comes in to tell the admission process, and then we wrap up with a campus live video and question and answer regarding the admission process. So in case like it would be great if you stay back for the whole webinar. It would be wonderful. And in case if you have any other commitments, then you can be excused after your this thing. So we don't want to bind it onto you because we have to go through the whole series and the whole thing. So whatever is convenient to both of you would be listening.
We'll try to be as far as possible be there. In case there is a call that comes beyond and repetitive, then I will log out.
Yes, not a problem, ma'am, at all. Not a problem. That's why we have not kept a collective question and answer. We have kept it immediately after your session so that, you don't have to wait till the end for that in case. Otherwise, you're most welcome to stay for the whole thing.
Thanks so much.
Just to share,
how are we now? Yes.
Just to share, I've done my industrial training under Polami ma'am and my management training under Douglas.
Okay, so you have all, and you're doing your PhD under me. So
yes.
You have three gurus right in front of you. No, but he's always like, I met Mr. Douglas when I was with Amity. I think so. That was long way back, Mr. Douglas. So in Amity. So and then so I think so. But Saurabh was like, I have to get Follow Me Ma'am and I have to get Douglas sir for the first time. I said, okay,
yeah, we have not met before, not at all.
Yes, yes. But I've heard so much, ma'am. He always keeps mentioning few people all the time. He's been with me for now nearly, I think, for 7 years, 6 or 7 years, and so I think so. Everybody known to me is known to him, and everybody known to him is known to me. And also, we are a very small industry, anyways.
Yes, very true.
So, Sunil Chef, are we ready to go? Or
Yes,
how many people
we are ready. We want
how many
to
people?
starting. We have got about 65 people as of now who have come.
Okay, so that okay. Yeah. Let's start.
Yes. Sir, you have the stage?
Yes, yes, yes. Shall I start?
Yes, yes, please, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are happy to see you on this webinar, and we hope that everybody is keeping well because these are slightly difficult times. So we welcome you to this webinar series, Hospitality 2.0, and goes and opportunities. We have several other webinars lined up, and this first webinar of today is concerned with redefining careers in hospitality. This is going to be a very interesting webinar, followed by 4 more webinars that we have planned for this series, Hospitality 2.0, and they are known as Reclaiming Customer Confidence in Hotels, Paradigm Shift in Housekeeping During New Normal, and redefining gastronomy, immunomeals, and finally, as a never before subject, career opportunities in healthcare for the hospitality graduates. So this is how the program has been designed for today. The progress of today's webinar is going to be like this. We have with us two very eminent speakers and trainers, namely Ms. Pallavi Bhattacharya and Mr. Douglas Peter, about whose details I will give you later. As we go on, there'll be many questions coming up, and after the address given by Ms. Pallavi and Mr. Douglas Peter, there will be our Chief Marketing Officer who will be delivering a lecture and telling you about the admission process in our university. But before all this, before we start, our Dean, Dr. Garima Prakash, will talk to you about, who's the Dean VHF, will talk to you about to introduce our school. And before I do that, I would like to introduce Dr. Garima Prakash to you. Dr. Garima Prakash holds a very unique combination of being a chef and a PhD holder. Very rarely are chefs found in this world who are specialists in what they do in the kitchen and also are PhD holders. So we have in her not only that, chef, a PhD holder, and also an ace in hospitality business, in hospitality academics. So first of all, I would like now invite Dr. Garima Prakash to talk about our school, the Vatel Tourism and Hospitality Business School. Dr. Garima, please.
Thank you, Kulmohan sir. Good evening, everybody, and a warm welcome to our esteemed speakers, Ms. Pallavi and Mr. Douglas Peter. It's a great pleasure to have you. And we see there are a lot of participants who are already signed in. So I'll just take a quick moment to introduce the Vatel School, Vatel as a brand in India. So ours is not a franchisee or ours is not an academic collaboration. We are the Vatel campus in India. So Vatel has basically a lot of campuses around the world, and ours is the only campus of Vatel in India. So Vatel is basically the French art of hospitality. Please, can I request to mute everybody because there's a lot of disturbance. Sunil sir, please. Please, if you could mute. Yeah, that is better. Yeah,
yes.
I think so. Yeah,
much better.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. So Vatel as a brand of hospitality school management was started in 1981 by Mr. Sabon. The first school came in 1981. And for the first 10 years, basically the Vatel model was popularized in France. Campus opened in Lyon in 1984, Nimes in 1989, and Bordeaux in 1994. In 2000, Vatel model was ready to be expanded all over the world, because obviously the teaching concepts, the tested methods of the theoretical courses and the professional experiences had all come into place and they were ready to take over the world. Mr. Sabon then decided that he should duplicate the Vatel school model throughout the world. Now, howsoever a Vatel France works or a Vatel Montenegro works, that is exactly how Vatel India works. So they are basically on the same, we follow the same curriculum. The curriculums are mapped to the T, the internships, the processes, the teaching pedagogy, everything is mapped. And any student who's studying in India is as good as studying in France, and obviously with lesser money. And then in 2019, Vatel had 50 campuses in 4 continents. So that is the growth of the school. So as of now, it has 50 campuses in the world. It's spread over the 4 continents. And today, Vatel Group is the first worldwide business school group in hospitality and tourism. So it's basically not only a hotel management school, it is a business school which is offering a hotel management degree. Chef, can I have the next slide, please? Yeah. So if we look at the key USPs of Vatel, it has 50 campuses in 31 countries. It is the first worldwide business school group in hospitality and tourism management. It is recognized by the professionals in international hospitality industry. It has quite a name. It has 9,000 students throughout the world, and it has 35,000 alumni who work in this beautiful hotels of the world. So now the main things of Vatel is obviously it has a strong dynamic and priceless Vatelian network advantage, which comes to each and every student who are a part of Vatel wherever they study in the world. And this network really takes them to a great height, and it's really helpful when they expand in their careers. Chef, can we have the next slide, please? So this is how we look on the map. And this is the one marked as our Vatel India, which is with Ansel University. So we are the Vatel India campus. So this is how widely we are spread. If you see, it's all over the world atlas. We have a prominent presence. Next slide, Chef, please. Yeah, so now the main USP of this program and how our program or how Vatel's program is different is the kind of internships that are offered in the school. It has 80+ students which travel abroad every year for their studies. So the unique internships which our school have is 10-week summer internship program, which is offered by Vatel at Nimes campus, France. This is basically an opportunity where 150 students come from all over the world from different Vatel schools, and they basically board, lodge, and work together. So it's a great experience for the students. Then we have a unique Marco Polo exchange program, which is a 1-year student exchange program, again very unique to the Vatel School of Hotel Management, in which a student can opt to his 1 year. It used to be 2nd year, but this year onwards it's going to be the 3rd year. So in the 3rd year, the student can, the Indian students who are with us at Vatel India can choose any of the 1 campuses which teaches in English to go and do his 1 year completely there. So in 1 year, he does 6 months of his industrial training, and he studies at 6 months, 6 months in that Vatel school. Again, a great experience for a student to get to feel the culture, get to be with the people with the students of other culture, networking, and this also broadens his horizon. And then we have obviously the 22-week internships, which can be done nationally or internationally by students in their 2nd year and in the 3rd year. So I think so out of the 4 years, a student gets a lot of opportunities to travel abroad, and also the industry connect, both national and international, is very strong. Steph, next slide, please. So that is a Marco Polo exchange program. I said it's an opportunity to travel outside India for complete 1 year. Its option is available in nearly 25+ campuses. They study for a semester in many of the Vatel campus, and they get trained in an international hotel for the next 6 months. And mind you, there is no additional tuition fee to be incurred by the students. They only pay for their boarding, lodging, and visa and travel. So it's quite a take. Next slide, Chef, please. And also, again, this is a program which gives dual degree. So one of the degrees a student gets at the end by Ansel University, which is a graduation degree. And also they get a Vatel degree, which has been embossed and endorsed by the French government. And so it's basically the same amount of money, the same amount of time, and the same amount of effort. A child is getting a national degree, and he's getting a national and an international degree at the same time, with no added extra fees. That also what makes our school quite unique. Infrastructure and facilities at Vatel India is basically we have our 3 kitchens, basic, quantity, advanced. We have a full-fledged bakery, which is very functional. We have 2 restaurants. One is by the name of Vatel Epicure, one is by the name of Vatel Cafe. Again, for the students to get exposed, we have a full-fledged housekeeping lab. We have a front office lab with the latest software in it. So infrastructure-wise, we are quite up to the mark. Again, the 4 years curriculum is, as I said, is quite matched to the International Vatel School. The 1st year is the foundation of the introductory year. The 2nd year is the operational year. 3rd year is the management year, and the 4th year is a specialization year. And also the 4th year is very unique because it has subjects more related to accumulating a business acumen or an entrepreneurship acumen of a student. So till the 3rd year, a child is basically learning operations of the hotel, and thereafter he gets into it. So the 4th year is more like a mini MBA for the student to step into the world. And we have introduced an MBA 2 years, this MBA in hospitality management 2 years, which we have introduced this time. This is under the SSB School of Ansar University, but taken care by a hospitality school. So again, it has, and we specialize in the MBA, there are two specializations. One is catering management and one is room division management. Again, the first year is first semester is the managerial foundation, in which the student studies about everything to be able to get an MBA degree. Second is about operational leadership and course specialization. So the specializations start basically from the second semester. The second semester and the third semester is where he chooses his specialization and he does his learns about them. And then the fourth year is the internship, in which he does his project dissertation and he does his 6 months, 22 weeks of training in any of the 5-star property. So this is how our MBA looks like. So that's about Vatel India. So I will now move on without taking any time. I'll move on and request Polami ma'am. Kunmohan sir, over to you, please.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you very much for the in-depth introduction of our college. And now I take this opportunity to briefly introduce our first speaker, Ms. Polami Bakshi Bhattacharya. Polami madam is a very well-educated veteran in the sector, and her primary focus has been on human resources and HR. She is basically known as the talent management professional, and she's an alumnus of IHM Kolkata and the prestigious OCLD. And as a professional, she's worked in Marriott International, the IHG, the Taj Hotels, and is currently holding the portfolio of HR of Best Tech Hospitality. The strong point of Polami is harnessing people's qualities and making them produce and making them better themselves and reaching the goal which they always aspired for which they joined the world of hospitality. And we cannot wait any longer to hear what a specialist like Polami Bhattacharya has to tell us today. Over to Polami, madam. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a real pleasure to be speaking in front of a huge audience, I say. And at this point of time, I wish everyone good health and urge everyone to be safe and follow the measures that we need to ensure that we do not fall under the grip of this deadly disease. Secondly, I know everyone is talking about hospital, that hospitality is no more to be in. It is difficult. There are, when there is a storm, it's in phase. When there is a storm, I'll give you the example of Amphan that happened in Orissa and West Bengal primarily. When the storm passed by, when the epicenter of the storm was moving, yes, of course, it was dangerous. But then now that the storm is gone, life is back to normal. That's exactly what COVID is doing to us in hospitality. I think in a way it has made us more aware and made us realize that we can't take anything for granted in our lives, right? There were a lot of times when I heard employees were unhappy and they didn't want to come to work. They were not very happy about the fact that, there were so many demands and, we all have our needs and desires, but then the organization and the company cannot fulfill all our urges, our desires. So I remember I used to get a lot of complaints, ma'am, this is not happening, ma'am, we should get this, ma'am, this should happen, that should happen, a lot of requests. Yes, we tried to do how much we could, but then 100% solving everyone's desire is not very feasible. And we also as an organization could not do. But I think COVID has taught what is life, as long as you have a job today, I think that is more important. There have been a lot of times when we have moved jobs for maybe just 500 rupees, 1,000 rupees. But today, I think there are people who feel that staying or sticking on to an organization, whether they are getting paid or not getting paid, it's immaterial. But to have a job is more important at this point of time. Of course, we are going to step into the new normal, and the new normal is going to bring in a lot of changes. I was just reading an article the other day about food and beverage changes. Yes, of course, we have been attending webinars. I think the entire period of lockdown has had phases for me personally also. There was a initial phase when I think I spent most of my day in webinars, right? Listening to people, doing courses, did a lot of stuff. Then there was a phase that came, the second phase, where I didn't want to listen anymore to whatever was happening because everything was so uncertain, right? Then there was a step when, I couldn't agree to it. That why all this? Maybe it's just a dream and it's just a phase and we'll just go. Okay. So it was a denial. Then fourth stage, I think I started kind of understanding, getting into terms to it. And the fifth stage is when I've accepted it that this is going to be the new normal. So in this 5 stages, and this is there with any, any phase of our life, any stage of our life, that whenever there's a difficult situation that we face, we get into these 5 phases in life. And the faster we can move on to the last stage, the fifth stage, I think it's easier for us to move on in life. And COVID is here to stay. So we have to design our lives alongside the entire pandemic. Right? It will stay. But we have to be safe and we have to see what best can we do to prevent ourselves and what best can we do to ensure guest safety. Now, all the brands, all the different chains, small hotels, everyone has come up with a new SOP. Right now, what about the new SOP? Of course, that's very important because life cannot be like the past. For example, when you go to a food and beverage outlet, you will not see a buffet anymore. Right? It's going to be replaced. A buffet breakfast is something that's going to be passé now. So what we are going to see in that case, we are going to see small a la carte meals. First phase. The second phase, when we move on of, when we have say about 20 to 50% occupancy, we are going to see the second phase, where we will have smaller portions of cold carts or maybe salads in the buffet, maybe a little small live station, 1 or 2 live stations. The third phase is going to be when it is more than 50%. Now, what we are going to do more than 50% occupancy, I think time is only going to say, right? We'll have to leave certain things to the future because we cannot decide everything at this point of time because it's unknown to everyone. It's not a cookie cutter. We don't have a solution, right? And even if, there are countries like, say, South Korea, New Zealand, who had declared their COVID-free, they're also now coming back to the state and saying that, we have a resurgence again of another stage of COVID, right? So we need to understand that if we think it is safe and someone says safe, no one is going to say that's safe, right? We have to walk our way through it. So with this thought, let me leave it to all of you for whatever you need to or you would like to ask, and I would be happy to answer your questions. Yes, of course, with the limitation, because a lot of things even I don't know, because it is very, very uncertain. The days ahead are uncertain. So I don't know. But whatever I understand, whatever little understanding that I have from being in this industry, speaking to industry mentors, speaking to my seniors, I'm going to share that bit of it to all of you. So the floor is now open. You can shoot your questions.
Thank you, ma'am. We have some questions.
Yeah.
Please, ma'am.
Just 1 minute, yeah. Ma'am, actually, I being in the position that I'm in, I would definitely want to ask you one thing. What is the industry expecting? And probably I would want Mr. Douglas also want to answer this later after his talk. What is the industry expecting that, what should be the key skills for the students now who will be passing out? And what are the kind of changes that we need to, obviously the curriculum will get aligned with what the industry will change, and but that is still a time, there's still time. So by the time we actually kind of, fit into the industry and the curriculum together, it's going to take us at least 1 year or 1.5 years, because as you yourself said, the industry doesn't know much as of now. So, but what as of now would be the kind of key skills, or what are the changes we should get into to create the new crop of students which will be passing out immediately, or rather which have passed out, if we could do something to enhance their knowledge?
Okay, I'll be very honest here. More than knowledge here, skills, yes. I think being alert, that's something a lot of times we don't pay attention to, and being alert is something that is developed. It doesn't come all within you inborn. So being alert is very, very important. Your six senses should be alert. You need to see what's happening, what's not happening, what's wrong. You need to pick up clues. That's very, very important. Secondly, it is the attitude. It is not the knowledge, and not skills also are not that important. Yes, of course, skills in terms of technological skills, but in a hotel, how much of technology are you going to use? Because in our country particularly, hospitality is all about our warmth, our relationship with our guests. So yes, technology to an extent, yes, that would be required. But I think today's kids are technologically much more advanced than we were. So that's one thing that is going to happen, because menus, we are not going to have menu cards. Probably it's going to be all, scanned. Menus can be scanned from your phone, right? Things will happen through WhatsApp, through SMS, right? You will have your DIY kits, and you need to make your own food. That's what's going to be the latest trend today in the market. So if that is what is going to happen, you have grab and go. So not everywhere there is technology, but yes, to a great extent, technology is going to be used, and people need to be, they need to be like a sponge to be able to adapt themselves to whatever they see, and they, quickly need to adapt to it. Also, even though all the hotel companies have prepared SOPs, and we are going to start the different hotels with the SOPs, new SOPs, but I'm sure that a lot of it for us in hospitality, a SOP can be made, but it has to be corrected so many times based on the guest needs. Now we're thinking what the guest will think. Maybe out of 100 guests, 90 guests will think in a particular way, but those 10 guests are going to be our teachers. They are going to teach us what should we do. So we have to leave it over a period of time to understand that what do guests need and how can we improvise. We have to be very, very open to new ideas, and no idea is a wrong idea probably. So technology, open to ideas, and soaking in everything, whatever they see, and alertness. These are four things that I would say that, as the students need to really focus on, because of course there's going to be a dearth of jobs for a while, right? Maybe the next 5-6 months. But then, like in other countries, it is picking up. It's going to pick up, and there are going to be a lot of domestic travelers who have probably not been traveling. They are going to start traveling again. We are all tired. We're all bored at home. We are also looking for that little break, when all this state quarantines get over, to go and have a vacation. So travel is bound to happen. There is no doubt about it. But yes, the next 5-6 months, it's very unprecedented and unpredictable, because we don't know how COVID is going to react. How will that tiny little virus going to change everyone's lives? We don't know. But if things go the way it is, and where, probably, I was talking about those 5 stages, and the stage of fear, which is the first phase, that is over. We have been able to overcome our fear. Nothing much has changed. In fact, today cases are more than when we were in lockdown. But we had a fear, so we stayed back. Now the fear is going to go away, because we have all understood that we cannot live with this forever. We have to get out. We have to take necessary precautions, and then whatever rest is up to God. So things will start moving. But when you close down something, to open that takes a little bit of a while. You need that little extra push to make things start working. I think that's where this next couple of months is going to be. And then we should be back to normal.
And I guess this.
We have a question, Sarshit.
Sorry. I guess this DIY kits and everything is just for the time being, for 6 to 7 months, because hospitality is a people's business. And I guess if we lose that warmth, then probably half of the hospitality essence is already gone. So probably after 6 or 8 months, we'll be back to normal, and then probably there'll be more people coming into the hotels, and we have ample staff and all. So it's a business. It's a hospitality business wherein the warmth is required, and then warmth is very much required when we talk about providing services to the guests. So yes, I fingers crossed we'll be back to normal after 6 or 8 months, I guess, with medicines coming up for the COVID treatment. So yes, hope so.
Okay, so this particular question by Dr. Garima about what skills or are the expectations of the industry, I'd just like to add two things. One, the students need to be more adaptable and they need to be more creative because these are times which are unprecedented. Even the best of the most experienced people have not been able to fathom that how this happened, and they are also in a state of shock. Everybody is in a state of shock. All the state leaders, all the doctors, the medical fraternity, virtually every single industry has been affected. So it's not that hospitality itself has been affected. So going forward, I think the students who are choosing this line should remember one thing, that if you can be very adaptable to change and if you're creative enough, then you will find opportunities which out of these difficult times also. And that's my two take on the question Dr. Garima has posed.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I had one question for you, Molly, madam, if you may permit.
Yes.
You know, now with regard to, since you are an HR professional, and what attitude do you think the employees are adapting towards all this, and how they're responding to this? You have people who've been barely there for about 4 or 5 months to 1 year, compared to ones who've been there for about 6 or 7 years. So is there any difference between their understanding of how they will pass through this phase, or are the new joinees more worried about it, or how is it going? We just would like to know this.
See, it is the same for everyone, I should say. Someone who's been there in the company for 7 years, 8 years, and someone who's there in the company, say 6 months, 8 months, it's almost similar. Yes, of course, because a lot of companies, hotel companies, have laid off a lot of people in terms of, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but they have started laying off people who had just joined. Not knowing what's going to be the business levels, they have done it. But then the risk stays everywhere. It is about a function getting obsolete for the time being. Right now, if you have a restaurant and that restaurant is not running, where do we take it back? Right? So this scare is similar for the ones who are there, and it's more position wise and department wise that the scare is there. Now everyone is scared, and it is similar. But then that is where we as leaders come in to explain, to tell them how things are, what they would like to do. And that's the reason, in our company, I've been telling people to do a lot of training. I said, sharpen your skills. That's the best thing that you can do at this point of time. If you sharpen your skills, you are adding something to your knowledge bank, and that you just don't know what comes handy.
Value additions and training programs is what.
Absolutely. So say suppose I only know to do task A, B, and C, but if I do a value addition of task F, G, and H, I have more potential, and I am more required in the company. So there are two ways of whiling away time. One, by doing nothing. The other, by doing something which will help me in the future.
Good. Thank you very much.
To the second part, but scare is there for everyone. But then there is also a light at the at the end of the tunnel. That okay, something good is going to be there, and that's where the department heads, the general managers of the hotels, the HR heads, they come in, they speak to the people to understand, to comfort them. That's how it is.
Good. Thank you, Pat.
Pleasure.
Any other question anybody has? Any more? No
We
question?
had similar questions coming up in the group talking about what should the students be preparing for, how will the HR face this, how will the tourism be affected. So I guess everything has been answered.
Mhm.
Yes.
Are there any more questions, Chef? Or shall we
I
proceed?
think so, madam. One Mr. Suraj Verma will is he has certain concerns, and obviously I think so they're very similar to ours. He's like, people will think twice about traveling to countries with less developed medical facilities, and people with business will also prefer online mode over traveling to save cost as well as their health. And tourism will drop, especially business related tourism, for a longer term. So what is your take on that, ma'am?
Okay. See, we all of this tourism, travel, hospitality, they all are in a chain, right? So yes, of course, it is true. For a first couple of months, people will be scared to travel to a less or an underdeveloped medical a country with underdeveloped medical facilities. Yes, it is true. We will be scared, but then when companies will realize that there is business, there is potential business in another country, or you need to travel, travel will start, right? Airline companies will not stop. Will the government want airline companies to just close down tomorrow? No, we will have to work out different schemes to ensure that people are traveling, right? So if airlines work, hotels work, right? If railways work, I was just reading something yesterday that, it was a smaller chain of a hotel domestic chain, and the head of business for that company, she was writing that, it's very important to understand that people will travel. Domestic travel is going to be, in thing for the next couple of months or maybe a year. And it is very important to understand that when this is happening, once the interstate lockdowns are being removed, there will be natural transportation happening and people will want to move and travel. So it is bound to happen. Now, maybe 6 months, 7 months, not beyond that. How long? You can't, right? Because there are livelihoods associated. It's a chain that is associated. So we can't be, presuming that, people will not travel, so we will not have business. Fine, maybe we will not have international tourists, but we will have local tourists. We'll have, the requirement will increase for domestic tourists. Will happen, which is bound up. And probably it will come back with a heavier thrust.
Any more questions for Paulomi madam? Anybody has? Shall we proceed further?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
Please.
Thank you very much, Paulomi madam, for giving us a good randonnée of what is happening in our hotel industry, and also answering all those questions. Now,
thank you so much.
Welcome, madam. The second speaker that we have is also another specialist, Mr. Douglas Peter. Mr. Douglas Peter is a founding director of Michel Adrian Consulting Company. Mr. Douglas has had the pleasure of working at several international destinations like Jumeirah Beach Resort, Dubai, Hilton, Intercontinental, the Lalit, and the Best Western. And he has been a strategy manager for the Quorum Hotel, which is a boutique hospitality group. What we see in Mr. Peter is a very, very unique combination. He has been a hotel professional, wherein he's worked for hotels worldwide. He has worked as an entrepreneur himself, which he's an entrepreneur right now. Also, he has worked with the government, with the prestigious department of the India Skills Corporation, which is a very large corporation. In fact, recently they have been too much of activity, and they are promoting. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, we can hear you.
Let us then listen to what a specialist like Mr. Douglas has to say regarding our seminar, which is concerned on the hotel professionals and their careers and redefining hospitality careers. Mr. Douglas, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your kind words. It's a career, so I've been going and trying out different sectors, and it's been a very rewarding one. I would like to thank you all, the entire faculty and the directors, for inviting me for this webinar, and also to all the parents and the students who are attending this. I hope we are able to give you some bit of information or able to clarify little thoughts or little questions you may have in your minds. So my few take on this is COVID is like it's like an earthquake which has happened to the entire society. So everybody is getting affected worldwide, and it is also fueled by fear, a lot of fear, and which over a period of time, as what Palmi also said, it should go away, right? I just got a message. Is my voice audible?
Yes,
Are
yes,
you
yes.
able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just got a message. That's why. All right. So what I was saying is, so COVID is like a break which has come suddenly to the entire society. So we are not. Hospitality has been affected severely. Yes, it's a fact because it's an industry which caters to thousands of people. My take on this is hospitality professionals have a fantastic future ahead. Now you will ask me why, how. First and foremost, we have to look at statistics because I have actually worked and as part of my consulting firm, we are working with about 20 different hotel chains, right from international to Indian hotel chains. And looking at, and we are in constant touch with them. So there is going to be an immediate issue in terms of staffing issues till December. But looking at the longer picture, most of the employees, especially from the hotel management sector, are preferring only five-star hotels so as a career platform. So that thought needs to be changed because there are a lot of other sectors which can easily employ hotel management professionals. Some of them is the healthcare, looking at the senior citizens. So senior citizen healthcare is a big demand which is going to come up. There are more than 150 million senior citizens living in the country. So if some company comes out with proper or if hotel chains and hospital chains come together and do collaboration, there will be a new employment stream coming in there. So, and then the real estate, we also have a lot of real estate clients, and I find most of the staff are not as polished as the hotel management graduate is. So you have a lot of potential in the sales and marketing or the business development field or the front office of the big real estate companies. The other aspect of the four-star hotels, if you look at it, very few hotel management graduates are actually joining 3 and 4-star hotels, which are actually 70% of the entire hotel numbers in India. So graduates need to just shed out their mindset that they only need 5-star. They can be flexible, they have to be adaptable, that they can join any industry. They are the most polished. Hospitality people are actually one of the most polished people. They have been trained for 3 years to be humble, which very few industries teach. And these are the very special abilities where hotel management graduates should focus on over the next few months. Immediately, there will be some challenge, definitely. But also the challenge is for the hotel management institutes also, because during this next 6 months, you must make them multi-skilled. You have to ensure that each and every student is studied based on his strengths and weaknesses, and they have to be given multiple skill sets depending on their interest. So if it's a chef should also try to become a very good F&B manager, because going forward, the employment trend will be that you will have less number of people. So you will have a multi-specialist. You will have a person who is in charge of front office and also housekeeping. Now, I'm not talking about the line staff. I'm not talking about the bed room attendants or the receptionist at the front line. I'm talking about the supervisory level. So this is a department where a lot of hotels need to focus on new SOPs. So they need fully trained staff, and fully trained staff means IHN students. You don't have to go anywhere else. Because I come from a background of 2 years with India's largest skill development company. I was part of that, setting up the hospitality sector. And we scaled up from 3 centers to 38 centers in 26 states. So when I left in 2013 end, we were able to train and place about 9,000 candidates with a background of 10th and 12th, mostly in 3-4 star and about 15% in 5-star hotels. So imagine if those people are able to getting placed after 3 months. They are the biggest challenge today because they have been taught very limited. Hotel management graduates have multiple knowledge, multiple skill sets, and they need to use this time, next 6 months, to be creative, to be a jack of everything, a little bit of everything, do a lot of self research, try to be entrepreneurs. So that is my initial talk. As we go ahead, I think we'll be able to give more insight to it. Anybody, any questions? Yeah.
We have one question coming in from Abhinav Bhatt. I'm expecting he's a HM student only. He's
Okay.
asking what will be the hotel techniques for future planning interviews for students? Will the pattern be changing for the interviews for these students coming in?
Okay. Abhinav, very good question. As a matter of fact, you are attending a webinar. Tell me frankly, 3 months back, did you ever attend a webinar? So with the COVID, the technology transformation has happened very fast. Similarly, for the hotel recruitment, I have been a director of human resources with Best Western Hotels, overseeing about 26 hotels pan India. It was very difficult to coordinate senior level interviews. But now we have multiple softwares to do video conferencing. So I assume that with the new softwares available, the recruitment time should be faster and quicker. So you should be able to give multiple interviews in a day. You can even send a video interview, and people should be able to judge your suitability in 30 seconds or 1 minute of your video. So, so in short, technology will be used more to judge people. You may not be called to hotels for interviews. Okay, sorry, Abhinav is the faculty. I just sent me a message. Yeah. So I hope I've been able to answer that question.
Yes, sir. We had
Any
one
other
more
question?
question, I guess, from a hotelier only, or maybe somebody who knows hoteliers very well. He's been asking a simple question like, how will the hotels bring back that faith that the staff had before? Because there was too much of firing or laying happening. So how will that faith?
See, this is a very good question. It's a very common question also. Firing happens when there is no money, right? And as you can see, 95% of all hotels were closed down. And even today, as we speak, some of the biggest hotel chains, the CEOs I spoke to, they have opened about 30 to 35% of their hotels, and they are not expecting more than 15 to 20% occupancy in June, and balance maybe 20-25%. So till December, they're not expecting 30-35%. Now imagine a hotel needs minimum about 45% of its money in daily running of the operations. So unless the occupancy level is about 40-45%, the hotel will not be operationally profitable. And then you have an issue of paying off the EMIs, large EMIs, millions of rupees to be paid. So that's the reason the layoff is happening right now, because the owners, the brands don't have the money to pay because they're not earning themselves. So don't worry, everybody is getting affected, right from a general manager to a frontline staff. But as a matter of fact, frontline staff, especially the front office, housekeeping, the chef, F&B, the firing is quite limited. It is to a limit. Let's say if 10 people are fired in these 4 areas, only 4 are being fired. And this pattern will change post October, November. Any other question?
I would like to come in here I'm sorry, I got tempted and I thought I will just continue with what Douglas said. See, please do understand the reason why people are being laid off is very simple, and it's a very small period of time that people are laid off. People will be called back. A lot of companies are also doing something like a furlough leave, which is like a leave without pay, because owners don't have money, brands don't pay you, brands only give a brand name to your resume, right? But the money is being paid by owners. So if owners would have to close their business completely versus paying you money, which one do you think is better? We would all want that the business be there, so that if it is a matter of 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, but after that, you know, you will have a job, right? There's going to be a huge recycling, I would say, of employees moving from one hotel to the other. However, also please understand, it's just a passing phase. Today you were working with Hotel B, tomorrow you will work with Hotel C. That's all that is going to happen. And these positions are laid off only because there is no business and there is no requirement of people. So employers also don't want to take the responsibility at this point of time because they're not in a position to. And please understand, if there is no cash flow, if something is not coming, what will they take out? And no businessman sits with whatever they have earned. That money is already involved into some other welfare of the business or into an account into another business. Right? So they, whatever they have earned as a profit, I hear people saying that, you know, the owners have been earning so much for so many years, yet they are not paying, they're laying off people. But then please understand, if they have earned money, they have not kept it at their home, right? They have not kept it in their bank. They've utilized that money for betterment of business. And there is no cash flow right now, so there is no money. So you don't, if people who don't have a job today, and there are people, you know, the reason why this is happening more so because, you know, the positions, those jobs are not required at this point of time. That is the reason people are being asked to, you know, go home. I hope that answers. And sorry, Douglas, I just sneaked in. I couldn't.
I think that's a very good addition you've added. As a matter of fact, just to reassure people, all the attendees, the aviation sector is going through a major problem of big time shortage of, cutting of manpower. Earlier, you used to have self check-in at the airport, and even there, they used to be having a lot of people. Now, with the new technology of contactless, all you do is just take your boarding pass, stand in front of the CISF counter. There's a camera which takes. You go inside. There's a tunnel. You will be disinfected. You go and you just scan it. You just either take a printout at home or you come. Baggage tagging happens on your own. So imagine the amount of people being laid off in the airport sector or the aviation sector. So hotel employees will be in demand because, as I said earlier, there are multiple other sectors which need people, which will be needing in a couple of months. Wait for another 2 more months. Maybe hospitals will require. They need people who can be good usherers, who are just there as guest relations, because India will very soon become also medical tourism because the cost is quite less. And if hotels and hospitals come together, you can imagine the business will be back. The latest news is that Delhi government is going to take over 40 hotels and 80 banquet halls and attaching them to hospitals. I take it as a benefit for hoteliers because if you're shut down, you don't get anything out of it. Now, if it is being taken over, at least the employees will be employed, and also hoteliers will get an experience of how they can manage medical people or people with issues, right? So tomorrow I can foresee that the bigger chains will definitely do a tie-up with hospitals because I'm sure the new normal will have at least 10% of every hotel dedicated for emergency or for medical people. So you have cross movement of people between hotels and the aviation sector, real estate sector, and the hospitality sector. So before that, they were only looking at only hospitality or the shipping line. Now you've got 3 more lines who are looking forward to employing hotel people.
Just to add to it, sir, I was about a week back, I was having a discussion with one of the chief hospitality personnel at the hospitals. Now, they said that we look for hospitality graduates from the hospitality sector so that they can join in our hospital industry, the healthcare industry, but they are a bit reluctant to join in. I don't know what is the reason, though they are willing to pay probably higher to them, but the students think that it's just the hospitality. That means it's 5-star hotels. Even the standalone restaurants are willing to pay double the amount of the salary to the hospitality graduates. Even with the banks, you can see at the information desk at the bank, or may I help you counters, there are tremendous amount of opportunities for the hospitality professionals, but there's this notion that hospitality industry is just about 5-star hotels.
Saurabh, you've hit the nail in the right hit the nail at the right top. That's exactly what I said a few minutes back. Hotel management institutes should inculcate attitude within the students that they have to be adaptable. See, if you're adaptable, a best example is an army soldier. Okay, if you look at the soldier, every 3 years he moves, or the soldier or the officer moves every 3 years from a desert to a mountain to a seaside. So you need, and they work. They are right at the glacier, at the Galwan, fighting against the Chinese. On the other side, fighting the Pakistanis. So if you see, they are very clear, very clear. So hotel students should be very clear about their service. They're serving people. That's it. Now, that service should come with smile. That service should come with a natural warmth. That's hospitality. And that warmth and that hospitality is missing in many sectors. So why don't you put the hospitality flavor in other sectors? You can put it in banks, right? You can put it in old age homes. You can put it in hospitals. It's like a magic formula. You put it, and people like it, right? So I think faculty also across all India, they need to really tell students, and you need to also put it in that 3 years that they need to visit multiple sectors. They need to see, go, visit, talk in terms of research. Then only they will change the mindset, because hotel will pay 20,000 rupees. Restaurant chain is willing to pay you 30,000 rupees with a higher designation. And a hospital chain will pay you 40,000 rupees for a starting salary. So you have to decide, and later on, you can always jump. Like, look at me. I've jumped between hotels to skill development to consulting, and now I'm doing media. Can you believe it? In the last 1 month, we were all deciding, and we have started our own channel called India Roundup. It's a weekly news bulletin. I'm a hotelier. Right. So the point is, be open, be optimistic. I think it's very important is be optimistic. You are the hotel management is a very special course. It's about human relations. It's about the warmth and the courtesy. I think that is something we need to showcase to the world. And if we can do that, everybody will say, "Get me a hotel management guy."
Thank you so much.
I guess this answers the question being put up by Sean Fernandez. Does film industry take hotel management graduates? So you have your answer. You can start your own channel.
Well, film industry, I'm not sure about film industry because you need acting skills there, right? Unless you add that as a curriculum subject in IHM. And I'm sure a lot of people, come from schools, they do acting, they join hotel management. So maybe what hotels should not be so rigid. They should also give extracurricular, like there should be music classes, there should be dramatics, get some people from the NSD. You never know if there's an interest and there is a talent. Like, I have a student of mine who's a singer. She's a hotel management student. and she trained under me, and she is a very good singer today. So at the end of the day, it's your luck, it's your destiny. You're studying hotel management, but you can be anywhere, right? But in per se, hotel management people may not be very fit in film line, because in the movie line, it's very, very tough. It's much tougher than the hospitality sector. You wake up in the morning, there are hundreds of retakes, quality is there, and obviously it's not your line. So you'll be only a sort side accompaniment, in the main dish. The main dish is the actors, so you're not part of that. Any other questions you'd like to ask?
Good. So, Chef, do I have your permission to carry on with the?
Just one last question. I got a question from Mr. Praveen Kumar. He's asking, like, if I change my current career to hospitality, is it good for me? So, sir, just want to ask, like, what is the right age, or the maximum age a person can consider if he wants to switch to the hotel line from his regular line, maybe outside the regular field?
Okay, I'll answer the question because I've done, as I said, the skill development. We had people who are even 27, 28, who are graduates from Northeast who are joining our programs, and many of them are working with the ITC Grand Chola. So age is not an issue. It is if you do the program, you like the program, you're a good student, and you do it. Before I think we come to the ending, there's a very important message I want to share with all the students who are doing hotel management and even the faculty. Be creative and try to use this time to become an entrepreneur, and in college you have students, and students are what do you call it? It's a huge talent, huge amount of talent bank. So the students should come together and start ventures right at the starting of the first year. Food ventures, it could be anything. You think through it. There are so many things you can incubate in the first year itself, and make it as a proper company. Let people work on it 2 hours a day, 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week. Put a structure to it. Form a company. Different companies can be formed within the campus itself, and then that will get converted, and you'll get real skill set. So I think that's what I have to tell my message. Thank you.
Talking about Douglas said, talking about the pool of knowledge, I would like to share one experience of mine. So at Taj Palace, whoever applies, it's between the industrial trainees, whoever applies the maximum knowledge or maximum application of mind. So he or she used to get a smiley ball from Polomi ma'am, that you have applied that extra 5% of your. So that's just I want to share.
Thank you for sharing.
So thank you. Any more questions, please, for the panelists? Anybody else? Any more questions, Chef? You have in your.
I guess we are done, sir.
Okay, good. Thank you very much, Mr. Douglas. Once again, you answered so many questions, and unhappily, so many of them. We are grateful to you for that. And now I call upon our Chief Marketing Officer, Mr. Amit Phul, to give us all an overview of the admission procedure that we adopt here, and to talk about the various advantages that the students get when they apply and when they do a course at the Vatel Hotel and Tourism Business School. Mr. Amit Phul, please, request you to come on.
Session and it's I must although I'm here giving a perspective broaden or participating, I must also I feel like sharing a personal going through an unprecedented. Everyone has gone through that phase. I decided 2006. It was a graduate in 2000. And being a student, we had huge plans. We had a lot of aspirations and huge plans that when we'll graduate, these will be our ways into the streams that we want to get into. Little did we know at that time that in 2008, the first year of graduating, because of the the global meltdown that happened in the financial industry specifically, where going down and Merrill Lynch going down, and it had a huge impact on students who were graduating at that time. I personally also lost my PPO at that time, and slowly and steadily built up the career from there. Because when we know that we are in a situation where there is a lot of ambiguity, uncertainty, what is going to happen in your future, nobody is aware of it, or probably is aware but not very certain. I think that is the best time to go forward and pursue your higher education. And that's what we recommend the students to do at this stage. This is the best time to utilize this time for education, as well as Mr. Douglas rightly mentioned, to enhance your skills also in your development. So in doing so, probably I can start with some slides. As I told you, universities throughout the world today, because of the current scenario, are going through a pandemic, paradigm shift in the way they are teaching the students. And we are also within Ansel University are witnessing a lot of paradigm shift. A lot of unique ways of teaching methodologies have been adopted. To give a perspective on the programs that we offer at Vatel School of Vatel Hotel and Tourism Business School at Ansel University. So we have a Bachelor of Hotel Management, which is a 4-year program. Overall eligibility criteria of 50%, wherein English is a mandate. We are also offering an MBA in Hospitality Management under the School of Business, and this is a 2-year program. Overall eligibility of 50% aggregate in a bachelor's level. In the next slide, this is an important slide for students who are looking to pursue their career at Vatel Hotel and Tourism Business School. We have an entire online application procedure, starting with an application form, which is there on our website. Our counselor is in touch with all those who have applied on our website through this application. And then we arrange for your documents, and basis that we also arrange for your aptitude test in case of bachelor's program. An aptitude test is also a scholarship test on the performance of which we depute a composite score, and you are liable to receive certain scholarships. Based on your performance in this aptitude test, as well as the documents that you share, we also arrange a personal interview round with the subject matter program director, as well as the dean. And then basis your performance in the overall selection policy, a final selection letter is shared with the students. In case of MBA, there is no aptitude test, but we do take personal interview rounds, and accordingly the selection letters are shared with the students. In order to also look at more meritorious students joining our institute, we have also launched certain scholarships. This is the basic entry-level scholarship that is available for our bachelor's program, wherein on the basis of your class 12th examination results, you will be liable to receive up to 100% of first semester tuition fees as a scholarship. And there are these bands that are there, starting from 25% of the first semester tuition fees, it goes up to 100% first semester tuition fees. This is your marks in the class 12th examination. There is also NCHMCT, the National Council for Hotel Management and Catering Technology Joint Entrance Test. On the basis of your performance, specific ranks that you receive, you are liable to receive up to 100% first semester, first year tuition fees as a scholarship. And this is a huge benefit that we are giving to all the students who have appeared for this national level entrance test as well. In case you have not appeared for the national level entrance test, then as I mentioned, we have our own aptitude cum scholarship test. In the next slide, we will talk about the composite scholarship that has been launched for the very first time for Vatel Hotel and Tourism Business School. And with the help of, we call it the VHTBS exam, the Vatel Hotel Tourism Business School exam. And on the basis of your score in class 12, as well as your score in this particular exam, composite scholarships weightages in each score. And again, you are entitled to receive up to 100% of first year tuition fees as an attractive scholarship. So this, I must reiterate that this has been computed for the very first time this time around, just to ensure that more and more meritorious students apply for an and take part in this 4-year program. We'll be very happy to engage further with all the students who have the right aptitude to join the hospitality sector, because as we have shared in the presentations earlier, this sector opens up career opportunities across various sectors. So this is the base, I would say, and many career opportunities across various fields open up once you are a graduate from a hotel and tourism business school like Vatel. Vatel is the #1 hospitality institute in the world. They have only one campus in India, that is with Ansel University. So we are very proud of that fact. In the wake of COVID this time, a very special initiative has been taken with the approval of our trustees. And this is a special scholarship that has been launched for all the students who are applying for as well as postgraduate program. You are also entitled to apply 25% of first year tuition fees, with the number of scholarships will be restricted there on the number of seats. And for postgraduate programs, 25% of first semester tuition fees is available as a special scholarship for all the students. So I must also highlight that all these scholarships are launched keeping in mind that the current times are tough. We are there to support each and every meritorious student who is there and who picks our institute as a choicest of choice to take admission. And at the same time, we would like to extend our other supports in terms of transport facilities and hostel facilities that are there in our campus, for which I'll request my colleague, Mr. Laurent, to also give some on that. And students, there are details of a counselor who is already in touch with all of you, Mr. Puneet Satwani, and he'll be very delighted further to interact with all of you and to streamline the entire process of admissions for all the students who are applying. We look forward to welcoming you at our campus once things are normalized. And as I said, this is the best time to pursue your higher education, utilize it in the best way, and once you graduate, you will be ready to be accepted by the industry, and you will be ready to look at challenging career ahead for yourself. Thank you so much. Have a good evening, everyone. And I'm here further to answer any more questions related to admission procedure.
Anybody has any questions regarding admissions, may kindly
We have a
address.
small video talking about our campus facilities. So let me just share that.
My role basically, as you can see in them.
Is it all, Chef? Shall I? Thank you
Yes,
very much, everybody. In fact, before we finish, we have picked up so many good points and we've learned so many things from these two eminent speakers. And I would like to quickly sum up as to what all we have learned today. Paulami Madam was very straight in saying that this is a passing phase like a storm, and all that we need to do is to brave the storm and come out victorious ourselves. So, in order to do that, we need to design our lives a bit differently, tweak it here and there, so can win this war against COVID. And just like winning a war, the person who is alert can win the war. Win the war. So we need to be very alert to the situation and to see how we can see that we come out victorious. And at this point in time, more than your own abilities, or more than your own dexterity with your own hand and your abilities, what you need to have is the right attitude. The right attitude will keep everyone going. So this is what Paulavi Madam spoke about. And Mr. Douglas also spoke about very new things, in fact, and he says that we need to adapt ourselves. So, molding yourself according to the situation and trying to understand the situation is the best thing that you do, because there's nothing anybody can do right now. All that you can do is try to adapt yourselves. This is COVID-19 is like an earthquake filled with fear. It's just a fear. Again, he said that it will go away. It will not, it's not here to stay all its life. And he also told us about looking at the silver lining at the end, around the black cloud. Hotel management people are the most polished people. They will be greatly in demand, not only in hotels, but also in hospitals, because they are trained to talk to people, trained to meet people. So people who are aspiring for hotel industry should never ever think that they will ever get into a situation of permanent no employment or permanent no work, because hospitality professionals are adapt to so many things. The best thing that they adapt themselves to is developing excellent customer relationships, and that's what Mr. Douglas spoke about. That now we, since he has the background of working with India Skills, what he also told us about it, that we have to be multi-skilled. Being multi-skilled can earn you a good career and present to you so many opportunities. In fact, it's good to be a specialist in one trade, of course. In fact, if you look at Mr. Peter Douglas's own career, he has been an entrepreneur, he's been a professional, and he's worked for hotels, and he has worked for the government, and now he's into the media. Look at the way he has himself adapted. So he's definitely preaching what he's practicing the most. And we admire that from the depth of our heart. Thank you very much, Mr. Peter. All of you must have seen, like Mr. Douglas said, that in the recent year, the technology has changed our lives actually. Today, had the system of webinar not been there, we perhaps would not have met. And thanks to technology is holding our hand in this perilous era and perilous time. And we thank our technology. In fact, we can imagine as to where we would have been without it. So as an HR professional, he said that whatever talent and whatever interest that somebody has, it needs to be harnessed and developed more and more. So we thank Paulami, we thank Mr. Douglas Peter to have come and attended our program and given such an encouraging thought, encouraging speech to our students, to the new people also, because everybody, in fact, generally speaking, everybody is in a very low mood. Kya hoega, kya karenge? Everybody's talking like that. But you have given them a good ray of hope, and this ray of hope doesn't come spontaneously, it comes through sheer experience. Both, as Paulami Madam has said, has spent so much of time in her HR, and you have had a very multifaceted experience. And it is the experience which can teach us a lot, and we can draw all our inspirations from that. And before I finish, I would request everybody that whosoever has logged in for the webinar today will get in his email one feedback form, which we request you to kindly fill, so that we get to know about how else we can make this program go better and better. and make it more informative and more useful. So now
I think so we can, in case if there are any questions related to admissions or admission process, you can address it, please. And I see a question from Mr. Praveen Kumar. Sunil sir, can you unmute Mr. Praveen Kumar? Can't hear you, sir. You're mute.
Just give me a second. Mr.
Yeah, Mr. Praveen Kumar. I believe so. He wants to get into hospitality career. So he has mentioned that. In case you can unmute him, he can ask directly. Otherwise, I'll pick it up from the chat.
Yes,
Anybody
Mr.
else?
Praveen, you're unmuted.
Mr. Praveen, you can ask your question, please.
You'll have to unmute it from your system.
I think so. He's not able to.
Maybe he's not able to listen to us.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Mr. Praveen. Basically, I think so. He has been working already for 6 years, and he's a graduate, and definitely wants to come into a hospitality career, which is obviously not a problem at all. I think so. Our MBA program would be a great start for you to change your stream. And as Mr. Douglas and Ms. Polamy also mentioned, this is the time when hotel industry also going up, is going to open into a lot of other avenues. So an MBA degree would stand strong with you. It will help you to change your career as well as to be a very strong candidate for the new normal and the new avenues which are opening up in the hospitality industry. I hope I have answered that question. Anybody else can please, any questions related to admissions, you can type. And I think so I have a message from Mr. Ashish Nag, who had complimented us on the webinar. And then Mr. Rahul Kumar is wanting to have more such sessions to get the industry experts to the hospitality fraternity. And we have another 4 webinars lined up, and we will be doing lots of other things also. So yes, we are doing, because this is the time when we all have to stay connected, and whatever information and industry has, people from industry are really helpful to come on these platforms and address people. So I think so that is it. Any other question? Sunil, I hope you don't have any other questions.
No, ma'am, all set.
All right, so that is it. The feedback form is in the chat box, so you can fill in there. And I would again like to thank all the panelists, Mr. Douglas, Ms. Polamy, for taking out time, and all the panelists who have assisted, and all the participants who have patiently listened to the webinar. Thank you so much, and hoping to see you again in the next one.
Thank you so much for inviting us, inviting me, and it was great interacting with